Hey everybody, welcome to the Jeremy Redman. This isn't suits and handshakes business. This is not boring business. Let's go. Remember that, Dave? Remember we used to do that? I think I'm picking up levels. I'm picking up levels, David. Welcome back to the Jeremy Redman. We're getting some great engagement, by the way, ladies and gents. We are getting some very good stuff. Thanks so much, Colin. Number two. Colin's number two.
Hey, number two.
Hey, number one.
Hey, number two.
I found this one story that I kind of want to jump right into. Sam Parr shared this story. Yes, here it is. My friend and Hampton member, I don't know what that means. This was so naturally inspiring to me. One person company, one employee company, 10 million a year in software. I'm thinking like, okay, cool. This is kind of that evolution of like a 10x entrepreneur. There's this thing called a 10x developer where you use like AI tools or your software programming knowledge or the things you know and can write in code. If you're that good with it, that mechanism makes you 10x better than the person next to you because they might not know that thing. It's like sans of the physical requirements of doing something. Her numbers are crazy. There's her app. That's amazing. Congrats to Ania. 2 million users, 37,000 app reviews, 7 figures in recurring revenue. 10 million a year, that was 8 figs. 8 figs. So we're gonna come down. And then no full-time employees. This is so cool and inspiring to see. I have been a solopreneur doing this, doing automation, app building, no code stuff, really pushing the limits of what an entrepreneur can do, especially by oneself or by themselves. And I've always felt empowered and I've wanted to show other people that they could do the same thing. That's where a lot of this is coming from. That's where a lot of this channel comes from. This channel comes from me feeling alone and unmotivated sometimes, and then trying to find the discipline or the motivation where it may not exist in my immediate circle. I might be able to tap into these other communities and these other places and these other influencers to gain some insight. Bootstrapping to 2 mil plus users with 0 employees, okay? Blog, join Hampton. I don't know what Hampton is. Hampton is a private, highly vetted. Okay, one, this is cool, but this is less cool that she did this because she's already privately and highly vetted community. So she's already ticked off a box, right? A couple boxes. She's been filtered. So that's cool though, that it's still cool. All of that still cool. Bootstrapping, which is a term used by people who haven't like raised money essentially. Venture. I kind of think we're in between. We have raised like low millions, but it's also like a lot bootstrapped, like building the company and growing based on its own revenue. Okay, that's something we've done a little bit. We have, by the way, as of a little while ago, we have made more money as a company than we've raised. This is where, Dave, you do like confetti and stuff. And I'm dancing, Dave. This is me dancing. I am very, very, very interested because this inspires me. Right? That like someone can make a 10 million a year business by themselves, essentially. You know, that's not necessarily the case. You know, like cool, like they're getting around like employees. It's probably her and a bunch of contractors or like outsourced development. For version 1, V1, that's us, by the way. I turn my work into notebooks into real wireframes and mockups using Photoshop. That's amazing ingenuity. A lot of people can do a lot of stuff with Photoshop, like designers, or you can teach yourself how to do this. Make wireframes and mockups using Photoshop or Canva now and a lot of other tools, or V1 and TaskMagic. Since launch, what does work to attract, retain customers? Take us through the process of building the first version of your product. Boom, okay, for version 1. Then I found a student developer, AKA slave labor. and worked with him to publish an app on the App Store. We take advantage of young people and their hunger to prove something to the world. That is a decent strategy. So often I hear, why don't you just get an unpaid intern to do that? Dude, get a bunch of unpaid. One, I don't like unpaid anybody. You do not get, how about paying them something? 15 an hour, something. Everyone who has worked for me has been paid something. Even if it was like a $500 or $1,000 a month part-time stipend or something, you've gotten something. I just don't believe you get anyone's best or any kind of effort. I don't know. Let me know if you would rather work for free or for very little for something. And I think it works in degrees, and we can get into stuff later about that. This is very inspiring. But what I wanted to get to was, is this rare? Like, how rare or commonplace is this? Because like, you can still see this, that someone did this by themselves, but then you think, is she 1 in 100? Is this story 1 in 1,000? Are you even good enough to get into his group, Hampton? Like, what are the odds of him letting you in this group, right? Let alone the odds of being this person in that group. So like, they sell these narratives as like, you can do it too. Otherwise they wouldn't be publishing these. Or it's for inspiration. So I hope it's not just so he can sell memberships to his course. That like, oh, look at these people that go through our course. Okay, well, then it's not selective. If everyone could do this, if everybody that went to this group or a mastermind, if everyone that went to a mastermind could do this, this would now become the average, and no one would write a blog post on it. There's a reason why they are writing this blog post on this story, and that's because it's rare. No one covers single mother of one leaves a job at an insurance company to take a new job making 105 grand with full benefits. No one covers that. Why? Because that case right there is more or less on the margins the average of what you're doing. So if everyone that takes these things in general, right, this would then become the average. What is the possibility that I could do this? That I or someone else next to me, what does it take to do this? Discipline, determination, resilience, all the intangibles, guaranteed. Good product, good marketing strategy, good execution, all of these other physical things as well. But when I look at this and I'm thinking, I mean, and congrats to her, that is freaking amazing. This is amazing. I'm literally just talking about how rare this is. No one would be writing about this. Wouldn't be an inspirational story if 1 million people had this exact same story. Does that make sense? They do go into what is like the crappy part or whatever. Did you ever have the moment where you thought it wouldn't work? It was a tight timeline, so then I released part of them for approval, but things were moving quickly, blah, 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 blah. After a brief moment of panic and picturing Rooted be list of report, literally later that day, and the editors came back to a point. That's the challenge you had? Literally later that day, the App Store editors came back to point out a few portions of my press release that they didn't want me to say. After a brief moment of panic and picturing Rooted being removed from the app stores forever and my dreams all being over. Okay, I'm going to be honest. That if you're seeing this or reading this, that is, you could just build the web app of that. Like, that's not dreams over. That's like just build the web app version. That's not dream over. That dream over is what a lot of people just get punched and kicked in the face every day and they can't pay their bills and they got a $20,000 tax bill and they don't know how to pay it. That's not my story. That's not my story there. I paid my $28,000 taxes. Let me know if you think this is commonplace. I think you read things and you believe things like it is commonplace. But to me, it's not really commonplace at all. I think you read it and you kind of see it because people publicize these types of things all over the place. I want better moments where you thought it wouldn't work. I want my kid's bill was like, I had tax, we couldn't make payroll. You know what I mean? Not like I didn't think it was gonna, it was like my mistake. Like we just got it removed and in 24 hours it was back. This might be the easiest path to success. So how rare is this? I don't know. But I'd like to know everyone else's opinion. How rare is something like this? Everyone knows a millionaire and everyone has like talked about how literally rare, if you want this and you actually get it. I want to talk about some of your moments. Type them in the bottom. That's all I got today. I look forward to seeing you next time.